I'm Dream Queen. You're in the cab with me. Thank you so much for rolling. In the studio with me, I have my friend, Lil Queen Trashmouth. Thank you so much for joining me, homie.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my distinct pleasure.
Good morning, everybody.
So, tell me what brings you here today.
Well, we were discussing me coming on and just talking about mutual aid in light of book club mutual aid topic for a minute. And then all of this, I know I'm trying to find the rating. Yes, there it is.
It's a snafu.
It is a snafu. I mean, it's beyond that. But this completely illegal, cruel, and 100% like Trump-made food crisis that we're in right now.
Is it fair to just put it on him? Or
at the point, yeah, and I'll get there.
Yes.
I mean, it's on a lot of people for sure,
Yes.
but like specifically, like as of like 7:00 last night, it's a little bit more squarely on his head. Which I'll let everybody know why I say that. We'll get there, but
Now, you work in the food industry in what capacity?
I do all of the administrative data input and administrative management for our state's Double Up Food Bucks program, which is a program that matches SNAP dollars spent on state-produced fruits and vegetables so that extra money stays in our local economy and folks who are on SNAP receive effectively half off local produce.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. Thanks to my whole team at the NMFMA.
NMFMA.
Yes, see, here it goes with the acronyms. That one doesn't matter as much, but the NMFMA is the nonprofit that I work for. It stands for the New Mexico Farmers Marketing Association. I don't have much to do with marketing farmers, obviously. I work on a team within that organization, which is called the Nutrition Incentives Program. And a nutrition incentive is, I have my glossary here. A nutrition incentive program is a program which supports projects to increase the purchase of fruits and vegetables among SNAP participants by providing incentives at the point of purchase. Okay. Not all of them have to be local. Our state program one is for local produce.
Right on. Thank you.
Yes. And really quickly, I do want to just go ahead and set out a couple of other definitions. So SNAP, which we're going to be using a lot, is itself an acronym that stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It is what we now call the food stamps program. We don't use the term food stamps anymore. EBT is the card, the physical card that then your SNAP benefits are loaded onto. And EBT stands for Electronic Benefit Transfer. Most nutrition assistance programs, including SNAP, WIC, and the free meal program for school lunches, all falls under the USDA. So the USDA is the United States Department of Agriculture. And then FNS is the sub-department of the USDA. That stands for Food and Nutrition Service, and that is the agency responsible for developing domestic nutrition assistance programs. So those are the four: SNAP, EBT, USDA, and FNS that I might use a lot. And there's their definitions. So
now, I always thought NMFMA meant Farmers Market Association, but it's marketing.
Yeah.
Wow, marketing. It's important, marketing in capitalism. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. In capitalism.
We got to spin it.
So the SNAP program, well, at the time was the food stamps program, started in 1939. The way it ran initially was your food stamp allotment, and they were physical stamps. You got blue stamps and different orange stamps. And you were allotted the food stamps based on the amount of money you were already spending on food. It was like, so like you would go and purchase a certain amount of food, and if you were at a certain level of need, they would then supplement that purchase with certain food stamps that were worth certain dollar amounts. And the reason it's all under the USDA is because, again, this was happening during the Great Depression, and it was all like meant to get to bail out farmers, essentially. It didn't become like a permanent fixture until the Food Stamp Act of 1964. So it was in effect for almost 30 years with like Congress and legislators deciding every year at session, yes, this is a good thing, we should keep it going, but it didn't become permanent until 1964. But at some point, again, it went from being physical food stamps to then being benefits on a card, and that's when the name changed as well. I think that was all the background that I wanted to bring in. Do you have any other questions on the history of SNAP or any
No, I
term
just want to thank
clarification?
you. I appreciate how diligent you are. I really, part of me wishes that we were in school together and on a project together because you're really great.
SNAP. Okay, I guess too, it's worth mentioning the Farm Bill. I've talked about the Farm Bill quite a bit on my show. This is all how it was done until 2023. Yeah, we're 2 years overdue on a new Farm Bill. In the past, the Farm Bill was a piece of legislature that covers 12 points, everything from food assistance, nutrition programs, to conservation, to farmers insurance, all kinds of stuff in the realm of farming. In general, it's usually, because it is so overarching, has massive bipartisan support and no trouble really passing a Farm Bill. People don't really mess with the SNAP funding and all that stuff that much to get concessions then for other areas, like, again, farming insurance, crop subsidies, stuff that the GOP has traditionally wanted for their farming constituents. I say traditionally because here we are. But in 2023, they extended the current Farm Bill because nobody could agree on it in Congress. And I think that's what happened again in 2024. I know if any of my coworkers are listening, a couple of them might be screaming, but essentially we're 2 years past a new Farm Bill, and inside the Farm Bill is where you decide not only the funding for SNAP, but like redefining like what the benefit payout should be at certain income points, right? So it's not just the lump funding, but actually deciding like you're this, I mean, this sounds terrible, but essentially you're this poor, this is how much you get because of inflation and all these other things factored in.
Do they? That's surprising to me that they factor in inflation, because being a poor, I feel like they don't account for rent and utility. I mean, they ask you that.
They do,
but
yeah.
But they still, it's your baseline income, and I feel like if I only make enough money to cover all that, then you still telling me I make too much. Like, it's so confusing.
And there's a big part, so all of that is determined by yet another acronym, the TFP, which stands for the Thrifty Food Plan. I know, it's not as fun as it sounds, unfortunately. And I didn't really like carve out time to go super into this, but a big problem with, like, a big way that they are effectively going to defund SNAP in the big, beautiful bill is by messing with this Thrifty Food Plan. And like, the Thrifty Food Plan gets reevaluated every so often to, again, account for all those things that I mentioned. And the supporters of the big, beautiful bill want to do away with the reevaluation of being like, no, this is what it is forever. Bye. So they're about to not do all that. If we get SNAP back. Anyway, I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'm like, if we even get SNAP back anyway, which I have a lot of feelings about. So SNAP, I think a lot of people, hopefully not people who are listening to this show, but people out there in the internet comment sections and in the world are under a lot of misconceptions about not only the program, but who is using the program. U.S. citizens are using the program. Let's start there. Also, let me start by saying I believe everyone should have access to free food with no barrier. It's ridiculous. This planet literally produces food. No one should be paying for food. However, there's a lot of people out there who, number one, do not believe food is a human right. I literally encountered that response to a comment on the internet this week, to which I responded, okay, well, can you tell me what a human right is? This is why you shouldn't be in the comment section, people. This right here. And the person responded to me, the U.S. Bill of Rights. The U.S. Bill of Rights is a human right, but food isn't in this person's brain. And that's when I was like, oh, wow. Or the bot's brain. It could have been a bot. I won't.
So many bots.
I know.
So many bots.
Although I think I did go to their page and I think it looked like a legit.
Well, and then
user,
there's people who are bots, and they're out here to incite
True.
reactions. You know, they're playing games.
So, what is it? 1 in 5 children in the nation are beneficiaries of the SNAP program. In the state of New Mexico, I believe over half of SNAP recipients are employed, are working poor, because that's a phrase we have in this country. In New Mexico, so we have, I believe, we have the highest level of SNAP redemption in the country. People who are eligible for SNAP in New Mexico access it at a higher rate than any other state in the nation because we are, all things considered, a pretty low barrier SNAP access state, even with the work requirements that just went into place, is still pretty low level. We do it like they do the bare minimum, basically to keep in step with the federal requirements. 1 in 4 New Mexicans is a SNAP recipient. So if you know 4 people, statistically speaking, one of those people is receiving food assistance. What else did I have? Oh, and then the big thing, a lot of people use, it's number 1, people have been reaching out to me running the Madrid food pantry, which I'm going to get into, even the difference between food bank, food pantry, and all that. And just online, again, the response is, oh, well, just go donate and volunteer at your local food bank. Food banks provide 1 meal for every 9 that the SNAP program provides. So yes, volunteer at your local food bank, always and forever, I will say that. And it does not fill the SNAP gap at all. There's just no way. Mostly, number 1, because food banks, food distribution programs, food pantries aren't open all the time. It's a once a week, in some cases once a month shot at pickup. And if you miss it, that's that. Volunteer-run organizations will never be able to fill that gap, realistically.
Why?
Because we don't have time. We all have jobs that we have to go to. Whereas again, when you're in a store, in a retailer where you can use your SNAP, there is a staff there that is being probably unfairly compensated, but compensated for their time to be there. It is a business model. Whereas again, a food pantry is people, I don't even want to say donating extra time because that doesn't exist. Making time.
Themselves.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
They're showing love according to Bell Hooks' definition. And Scott Peck. They're extending themselves for our benefit, for our spiritual and personal well-being. So big up to everyone out there who volunteers in your community, whatever that may be. So what are these developments that are going on right now, and why Dementia Daddy is having on the chopping block right now? What's going on?
Okay, so SNAP benefits have never been paused during a government shutdown before. We should also address that. The funding is there. It was already earmarked. This was all by choice. When Speaker of the House Mike Johnson says that he cares about your food benefits, why did he vote for the big, beautiful bill? There's a lot of hypocrisies going around, and the short of it is actually no politician really cares if you're eating or not. None of them.
Mom Donnie does.
Yes, okay, fine. I am talking about the ones that are responsible for being able to open the government right now, specifically.
President Mom Donnie.
No one in the legislative chambers cares whether you and I, or probably anyone else listening to this show, is eating right now. They don't, because they're getting paid to not work, by the way. So again, there was no need for the SNAP pause. It was 100% a control tactic. I think I actually saw, who knows, because I'm in the perpetual scroll, but I believe I scrolled past a clip of a Fox News host that had a quote on the Laura Loomer show saying a hungry dog is easier to control.
Yep.
So that's the thought process behind this right now. There's also people who believe that that this administration is trying to incite scarcity and food riots to then enact martial law and militaristic overreach, right? Honestly, both are probably true with this administration. There's If it comes out of the fascist playbook.
Well, folks are saying that it's the Democrats' fault because they just give away benefits to people and their socialists.
Right.
And immigrants.
So the USDA, remember I read the crazy banner that was on there? They've changed it a little bit. I'll read the banner that's on there currently.
And what is this?
This is the FNS, so the the Food and Nutrition Services USDA.gov webpage. So if you're looking up any information on what's going on with SNAP right now and you go to a government, like you're not going to a news source, but the government page, this would be the page that it would take you to, right? And the first thing that's there is a giant red banner with a big exclamation point that says, Senate Democrats have voted 14 times against reopening the government. This compromises not only SNAP, but farm programs, food inspection, animal and plant disease protection, rural development, and protecting federal lands. That's all in the Farm Bill. Senate Democrats are withholding services to the American people in exchange for health care for illegals, gender mutilation, and other unknown, quote, leverage points, is what it says now.
And that's on a government website.
Yes.
Now. Gender mutilation.
The health care for illegals and gender mutilation has been there the whole time. I will say this is somehow even toned down from what it said before when it was like, think of the mothers and the babies. Like it was really unhinged for a minute. So not only is that like the rhetoric, again, that these legislators are giving when they're out giving their talking points or whatever at press conferences, town halls, anything, like this is now on
the websites. Well, they're putting
a lot of crazy stuff
on the White House websites and the Homeland Security website, the DHS website. It's a lot of partisan
DHS is
derogatory language.
Okay, but this is interesting. So the DHS website, dhs.gov, their banner just says, due to the lapse in federal funding, this website will not be actively managed. That's all it says.
So they're going to just not do that. Okay.
So it's an extra target for when people are like, wait, why am I hungry this month? And then now they get this extra banner that's like because of, quote, illegals and gender mutilation and other, quote, leverage points. It could just say the same thing that the DHS one, that this website is not being actively managed, done. But instead it has all this extra steps to incite working class members against other working class members.
So let's talk about the fact that they said they were going to release some of the funds. You came in this morning saying there was an update on that with the Supreme Court vote that happened yesterday?
Yep, yesterday. So in my work email, I got an email at 3:46 p.m. yesterday that says USDA to finally fund November SNAP benefits. Unnecessary delay should be cautionary tale for Trump administration and Congress. And this just says, after a long, chaotic, and unnecessary delay, the Food and Research Action Center is pleased that the courts have not stopped full SNAP benefits from moving forward. The USDA has finally issued guidance and taken action to allow states to provide full November SNAP benefits for the 42 million Americans who rely on the program to put food on the table. That was at 3:45 yesterday.
And was that based on some two judges that said that it was illegal for them to withhold these funds?
Yes.
So there was that action earlier this week?
Yes.
That they said he had to give those funds out. And this is a result of that. Mm-hmm. Then what happened?
Then last night, after community meal, I went home and got on the socials and saw that Trump had just appealed straight to the Supreme Court to say, no, block this lower court's decision to release the funds. And the Supreme Court did it, which I am really confused about that. I thought they had to be in session. I wasn't aware really that you can just be like, hey, Supreme Court, can you, but I guess that's a thing. Let's see.
So what does that mean for us?
I'm pulling up from the Food Research Action Committee a really good timeline of what's going on. So November 4th of this year, 4 days ago, USDA releases the first memo instructing the states to begin calculations for partial benefit issuance estimated at 50% of normal allotments. So again, that's that $4 billion that is already there, good, ready to go. Then on November 5th, following confusion among states, the USDA issues a second guidance memo with different calculations being at 65%, compounding administrative burden and delaying the benefits farther, yes. On November 6th, Judge McConnell orders the Trump administration to fully fund November SNAP using reserve accounts and calling the USDA's delays arbitrary and capricious. The Department of Justice files an appeal, and the trial court denies DOJ's motion for a stay, confirming that the USDA must proceed with full benefit issuance. Then November 7th, which was yesterday, the Trump administration appeals to the appeals court, seeking relief from the appeals court. If no stay is granted, the USDA must direct states to transmit issuance files to EBT vendors by the close of the business day. Failure to comply could result in contempt of court against senior USDA officials. FNS, which is the Food and Nutrition Service, is moving to implement full November 2025 benefit issuances in compliance with the November 6, 2025 order from the District Court of Rhode Island, until the Supreme Court came in, which I have an article on that too. By the way, there is an entire timeline of the Trump failure to send SNAP benefits starting on September 30th of this year, available at frac.org.
Was that FRA?
AC. I know, it's an unfortunate acronym for them. Food Research Action Committee, frac, but not that kind of fracking.
Yeah.
So that's where we were yesterday until this Supreme Court buddy phone call, I guess. So let's see. So now, yeah, and I was right. So the Supreme Court has allowed and this is from an MSNBC article, the Supreme Court has allowed President Donald Trump to withhold about $4 billion in funding of food aid for 42 million low-income Americans. So yeah, there's $8 billion needed for the SNAP right now to get November. And this is just November benefits, which, by the way, we're already a third of the way through. This isn't even talking about December benefits. There is $4 billion that is easily available, accessible, and that is not what the Supreme Court is stopping. That $4 billion is going to go out. Half of benefits are going to be funded for the month of November per the USDA. I'll get to what New Mexico is doing in a minute. But the Supreme Court paused accessing the other $4 billion of emergency funds for this. And again, that was Trump. Him and his team appealed straight to the Supreme Court and said, block this extra $4 billion for food.
I mean, this leaves me speechless, which is not great for the radio. I don't see how these people are still running around free, torturing folks with this back and forth and the withholding of.
Yeah. It's cruel. Yeah. It is 100% cruelty. There's no other word for it.
And the shutdown and the blame on the Democrats is based on, is it a filibuster, or do you know much about this?
No, they're not voting. It's the healthcare funding issue. What basically right now is like Republicans are like, okay, gut healthcare fund. Like, I've seen the math on some of this, that some people's insurance premiums would like triple it or more. Yeah. Like some people are expecting to have to pay possibly up to a third of their annual income for health insurance premium. Not even care, just insurance, right? Which is the biggest scam on the face of the planet. And so that's the thing that Democrats aren't letting go through. And so again, right now, it's like they're holding your food hostage so they can gut your health. Like, it's all it's all cruel. So cruel. And again, so what? So Elon Musk can be the first trillionaire? Like, really? Really? But yes, that is the reason.
I mean, I think it's so that a whole bunch of people can get rich. You know what I mean? I think it's for a whole bunch of people to get rich. And the reason I'm saying that like that is because when we focus on one or two people, like, there's a whole team of politicians and business people that are benefiting from what our country is going through right now, and they each need to be held responsible, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
there's like 320 million of us and like 1,000 of them. If everybody picks one, odds are we have all the bases covered. It's a numbers game. So here I'll read the longest shutdown in government history. The SNAP program has become a political bargaining chip in the ongoing government shutdown, which has dragged on as Republicans refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies for low and middle income Americans, which are set to expire at the end of the year. That's what's happening.
Yeah. What's going on in New Mexico? Can we talk about that for a second?
That was a thing. When I found out that Michelle Lujan Grisham was going to have a press conference announcing the 30% SNAP funding with state funds, I did find that out in a work meeting before I was allowed to talk about it. But that's already happened, so I can talk about it now. And that was Wednesday? It was Wednesday before Halloween. This was Wednesday, October 29th. The governor of New Mexico, Michelle Lujan Grisham, announced that they would be using state funds to provide about 30% of the expected November benefits to all SNAP recipients in the state of New Mexico. When we heard this at my job, like my program supervisor was like, "How is this going to happen?" Like because of the way the money channels work, there was a question of if it's going through this federal channel, they can block it, but it didn't go that way. I don't know the exact ins and outs of the money channels, but I do know that the way the state decided to do it, it is protected. Which is dope. So from Source New Mexico yesterday, this was in between the USDA saying they're going to fully fund everything and the Supreme Court saying, no, you're not. There is already a special session planned for Monday, November 10th in our state, where our state legislators are going to come together to figure out how to find the rest of the SNAP money for the month of November. And that is still happening. Our governor has said no matter what this back and forth of the feds is doing, we're still meeting to figure out a way to keep our citizens of New Mexico safe from this hot mess that is literally messing, like bargaining with people's lives, like actual lives. So that is great. We appreciate that. I mean, it doesn't matter what our state level Republicans say here in New Mexico because there's not enough of them for them to matter. So, cry. But a lot of them are pointing at these special sessions to find food money as like political stunts by Michelle Lujan Grisham to stick it to the Trump administration. It's like, no, it's literally not that. And like the whole time that she's been doing this food response, like a lot of our state level Republicans are crying about like, we should be having special sessions about crime and exactly. That's the face. That's the correct facial response to that. But again, there aren't enough of them to matter. So cry harder, babes.
And what do they think is going to happen with crime when people can't afford to eat?
I know.
Tupac. Tell them, Tupac.
That's
go to
right.
them in dreams like not Jacob Marley, but, get them. Jeez, it's the time for nightmares.
It really is.
I mean, I was thinking more of like the Ebenezer Scrooge, Christmas.
Yes.
The Christmas nightmares.
Oh, yeah. We need some ghosts.
We need some ghosts. I want Tupac to go explain to Peter Thiel in a dream. I want him to haunt.
Oh, I love this game. Who are our ghosts of Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future for our current billionaires?
Tupac is...
I want the ghost of Lucy Parsons to definitely be visiting some of these guys with her ghostly sticks of dynamite. Come on, yes.
Tell people who Lucy Parsons is again.
Lucy Parsons was an amazing anarcho-communist activist, was a very early member and potentially co-founder of the IWW, the Industrial World Workers, the union that I am a proud dues-paying member of. My favorite thing about her is like she would say if you're going to the bargaining table with your boss and they start negotiate, like trying to walk back the wage negotiation and offer you less, you just pull out a stick of dynamite and set it on the table. And every time they try to give you less, you give them more dynamite because they are bargaining with your life. You should be bargaining with theirs. Yes. She was dope.
All right. Ghost of Christmas Past has been cast. Ghost of Christmas Present has been cast. Who's the Ghost of Christmas Future? Oh, we'll have to think about
that one, like...
I mean, the future is unknown.
I know.
It's unknown, but we would need the ghost that would help jar these people into giving out the turkeys and gooses.
Well, to show them their own grave. That's what the Ghost of Christmas Future does.
Yeah.
So he takes him to the funeral and there's no one there. The Jacob Marley character, I mean, shout out to the bangers who thought of this, but like Epstein's ghost is for sure the Jacob Marley for all these fools. It is, yeah. Anyway, come see our improv version of A Christmas Carol. Just kidding. We don't have that yet.
Yet.
We will.
We should go to breakfast after this and write it. It won't take long. But let's talk about the work that you do with the Madrid Food Program and the difference between the Food Depot and the pantry, as you brought up.
Yep.
And what people here in our local community have access to.
So when I first started volunteering for the Madrid Food Program, we were calling it a food bank, quote unquote, which was not correct. We are not a food bank. The Food Depot is a food bank. So in the U.S., there are about 200 food banks in the United States, whereas there are 60,000 food pantries. So we fall under food pantry. We partner with a food bank, the Food Depot, which is one of four, three or four, I think it's four food banks in New Mexico. And the Food Depot serves 9 counties through northern New Mexico. If you look at their map of distribution, it's pretty amazing what they're doing. And then the other big main one is Roadrunner, which is Albuquerque, but they also pretty much cover everything between Albuquerque and Las Cruces. Wow. Is handled by Roadrunner Food Bank. And then there's one in the Four Corners area, and then I think Las Cruces area has one too. So a food bank, I'm just going to read. This is the definition that Feeding America gives, and you can find it on feedingamerica.org. But a food bank is a nonprofit that safely stores millions of pounds of food that will soon be delivered to local food programs like a food pantry. You know that process very well.
Yeah. Put it in the truck. Take it to the village.
Food banks are all different sizes. Regardless of size, the food they store is donated from local neighbors, retailers, grocery stores, and restaurants. A food pantry is a distribution center where hungry families can receive food supplied with food from a food bank. Pantries feed hundreds of people per week. Some of them. We don't feed hundreds of people per week, but we feed dozens.
I was going to ask, how many households do we serve here in Madrid?
I say between 35 and 43 households every week.
Right. Oh, and let's talk about the mobile food pantry in Cerrillos. Big love, y'all.
Yeah.
So we usually meet the mobile food pantry in Cerrillos on the first and third Thursdays of the month. And
not this month.
Next month. I know, not this month or next month due to the holiday, y'all. Yeah. But typically it's the first and third. The mobile food pantry from the Food Depot is stationed at the Cerrillos State Park Visitor Center at the railroad tracks. And y'all can go there and get a bag of food, and we pick up stuff to bring here to Madrid. On those off weeks, they are so kind as to themselves deliver all the way into Madrid to our place at the firehouse. Yes. And I'm going to stop talking and let you fill in. And then could you say something about Thanksgiving dinner?
Yes. So yes, thank you to the Food Depot. We could not do
Love y'all.
What we're doing at the Madrid Food Program without the Food Depot, that's for sure. And we also supplement what we get from the Food Depot with some weekly grocery shopping trips. So thank you to our 2 lovely shoppers who take time out of their personal lives to go and do this. Thank you so much. Y'all are so appreciated.
Gas money, your muscles, and also everybody who donates to our program directly, who come to our fundraising events, who help out and do all of that in all the ways. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
That's mutual aid. Can't do it without you. We do it because we need to do it. And so we have hot meals on Fridays.
We kind of are managing 3 sort of programs right now at the Madrid Food Program. So on the one mainstay, always and forever, is the bag distribution, where you can pick up a bag of food for your household from 9 to 9:30 every Friday morning at the Madrid Firehouse, which is number 5 Firehouse Lane. If you want to sign up, just let us know before 8 a.m. on a Friday that you are coming, and we will make you a bag. You just need to tell us how many people it's for and if you have any dietary restrictions. That's it. We don't ask any other questions.
How to you send it to Madrid Food Program
at gmail.com. Or you can tape a note to the firehouse door. I had somebody do that this week where I just showed up there and there was a note clothespined to the door handle that said, we want to sign up. So right now we don't have a place to mount a sign up sheet. We're working on it. Space is a big issue for us right now. So there's that program. Then we do free community hot meal on Friday nights from 5 to 7 p.m. And in that time, you can also come if you missed the Friday morning pickup or don't want the full bag, just want to come and see what we have. You can come in there and I'll get stuff off the shelves for you, or whoever's there will. And that's the free pantry. Hour overlaps with community meal. And then we also...
5-ish.
5-ish, yeah. I know. I'm thinking we get there at 5 and we leave at 7. So the hot meal time is about like 5:15-ish to 6:45-ish.
Which is what it says on the PSA. We should just stick to that. I don't know. We don't know what's happening. We work real jobs, y'all.
And it was different in the summer.
Yeah.
It's dark and cold now, so that's fine. That's fine. This is our first winter doing it. We are allowed to learn and grow.
Yeah, and you all are all welcome to participate. You can find any of us or probably send an email.
I'm later today going to be working on a Google Calendar situation so people can just start plugging in on that when they want to show up and help. And then the last thing we do, which is not just us, but should be all community involved, are the free little food pantries that are one here in front of the station and then one at the corner of Highway 14 and Firehouse Lane. Those pantries, you can put any non-perishable items in there, hygiene items, household cleaning items, whatever. Take as you need, give as you can. We do refill them every Friday after food bag distribution, but Friday to Friday is a long time. So in the middle of the week, if you got a can of soup you know you're not going to use, stick it out in a free pantry. Somebody might want it. So.
And also I want to tell people, also let us know if you're not going to come and get your bag.
Yes, please.
That's really helpful because it reduces waste and it respects people's time. Part of mutual aid is mutual respect. People wouldn't participate in mutual aid if they didn't have love and compassion and care for you in this community, and just realize that there's a human being there that is managing and sacrificing a lot to show up. And we'd love to know if you're just not going to make it. No judgment. Stuff happens. But we can redistribute that food. And
we can always redistribute that
and
food.
just make sure that things keep running efficiently. And then Thanksgiving, we're going to do a what now?
Well, I haven't confirmed with all the planning people, but there is a community Thanksgiving meal at 2 p.m. at the firehouse. I would like for the food program to purchase the turkeys because, again, we have the funding, we have the means. So come get some turkeys. There will definitely be sides, like I know, and then potluck the rest of it. So
that's right. It says potluck here. I read the PSA earlier. I'll read it again. The Madrid Volunteer Fire Department is hosting the annual community meal on Thanksgiving Day at 2 p.m. at the Madrid Fire Station. All are welcome to come eat and gather. Bring a potluck dish if you like. The station is at number 5 Firehouse Lane. And that is something that Madrid has been doing in some capacity, way, shape, or form since before I arrived here.
Yeah.
I think one of my first events here arriving in 2013, November, was a Thanksgiving dinner at the tavern. And then it moved over to the firehouse. And I remember that year, speaking of Stella, she came frying up them turkeys in the deep fryer. I wasn't here for that, but I saw pictures and everybody's just being brave and creative, and I just love it.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're out of time. How do you want to close? Do you have a quick point that you want to make?
My biggest thing is no matter what happens, right? Like all of this stuff that's getting put in place, like so many people in the community are stepping up and doing community meals, pay it forward boards, having donation jars out for the food program, free shelves with free food in their places of business. Like people have really stepped up. Keep going. No matter what this state does, not the state of New Mexico. I mean, the overarching administrative, capitalist, imperialist state of the U.S. government. No matter what happens in the next few weeks, they are going to do this again. These types of problems aren't going anywhere. It is only going to get weirder and wilder out there. And we will be so much better prepared to respond to it if we keep these systems in place and in practice and keep these muscles flexed. It's so much easier to respond to a crisis than react to a crisis. So that's my biggest wish, is keep going.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say, we've been preparing for this since I've known you and been doing this work with you, and have tended to be ahead of the curve. And a lot of people look at us like, what are you doing? Why do you think the need is going to increase? And we're like, we know stuff, man.
Yes.
I crumple up my tinfoil hat and I throw it down and I say, I know things. But we do. We have the information. We find the information. We work in these areas, and we are conscious and compassionate and see where the need is. And so we've been able to step up rather quickly. And, you know, those of us who've been kind of putting things aside for these days and for the homies, I mean, frog in a pot, we've seen it. Lil Queen Trashmouth, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And give love to Hot Diggity, who's out there listening. And we should all get together here in the next couple weeks and talk some more about mutual aid together, because we just make a great team.
Love that.
Love y'all. In the Cab Radio at Linktree, at Instagram, and all the places. And you can get the rest of this interview if you missed some of it. And anything else we've talked about in the past. Check it out there. Love you, love you, love you. Peace. In the Cab Radio is produced by Jada White, a.k.a. Dream Queen. Original theme music produced by Baby Weekend Boys and Icky Mac the Beat Jugular. Learn more at In the Cab Radio at Linktree. Thank you so much for tuning in.